Okay.
Okay, so there's a reference trade which not worked, right? This is a single candle, seller's stop. Again, there is a single candle, and then this single candle we are expecting there is a green candle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we will read the candles, we will get here the information. For example, if you just to look at the buyers, they have one candle, then they have a three candles, and then they have a two candles. Momentum slow down. Again, momentum increase, then slow down, and
Yeah.
then finally momentum is
Stop.
strong. So while after this red candle, what we are expecting a green candle. But buyers what told us before that our momentum is stop.
Momentum stopped by yes.
So buyers tried, they was very weak because they already told that we don't have a demand too much. So that's why we are stopping. We are giving the opportunity to the sellers. So this stop sign, that's the reason this buyer is unable to complete the green candle. And the same thing, same all pictures, if you just to look, all the pictures are telling the same thing. For example, here, this was a bias stop which not work, you point out, right? Again, now you are
Yeah.
expecting from the this candle, this candle green, right?
Expected green. Yes, sir.
So what are you expecting here?
Yeah. Buyer started momentum and seller's momentum stops, sir.
So this seller's momentum is stopped right here, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after these three candles, you are expecting that the too many candles will go up in that direction. Okay.
Yeah.
So in
Minimum two
this,
green candles. I get.
okay. So this is the another point. Another point means the buyers tried, they move up, but they are bounced back because this is the extreme level point, and there is a round number as well as. So they tried, they moved up, but they pushed back. That's the reason.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And in the another screenshots, this is screenshot, what's telling as like that here the bias stopped and this not worked, and again you are expecting that the single buyer next time the single buyer we can expect a red candle, right?
Yeah.
But if we just to find the information, these so many candles and then a single candle stops, it shows that the buyers sellers are stopped. That's the reason buyers continued. But can we use the signal in this type of candles where the candles are very tiny because of any news time or any other thing? So the candles are very tiny. So we need to ignore. Today's market was very bad. From the morning,
Okay.
what I'm looking in the market, the market is very bad. In this type of market, mostly we are trading the psychological patterns because candles are very tiny. Our market is in a range. Okay, so
Yeah.
that can be reason, but we will solve these reasons when we will complete other lessons as well as. Okay,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
and is there any query on this, Athira? Athira, on your screenshot, is there any query?
Yeah, exactly, brother. So
Okay,
in my screenshot, it is completely different. Can you
okay.
please open my, yeah.
So
So
yes.
here, left side, there is buyer's momentum, and the
Mhm.
buyer's momentum got stopped with a single green candle. After that, seller's momentum didn't stop. After that, I found that bearish engulfing, yeah,
Mhm.
near to that market area.
Mhm.
That's why, because sellers momentum are still alive. That's why I have gone with the down option.
Yes.
Again, I got lost here.
Yes. Okay. So look at it. This candle is also known as a green candle, right? Is it? This is
Uh,
currently it's a doji candle, but this will be known as a green
uh,
candle, right? So here they already stopped, again stop, again stop. So this sequence is done at this point. Okay. Now the next sequence which you want to that go farther down. No, you are thinking that I this candle must be red candle, right? This candle must
yes,
be
yes,
a red candle. We are not talking
right.
about the sequence, but you're talking about this engulfing pattern, which this candle must be red because the sequence is like a uh, no retracement, and here, if you are counting this green candle, no retracement, this candle must go down, right?
Yeah.
This is the query.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So now here you can see this is very, first of all, the candle is very tiny. Another, if we just get the effort understanding, you just look at the buyer's candle volume and seller's candle volume. We know that this is an engulfing pattern, but the strength of the pattern is what telling that we are very weak. That's the reason buyers entered in the market. So if the pattern is very weak, then it is possible that it cannot continue. And this engulfing, if you just look at the lower wick of the engulfing, this wick is mostly 50% of the body, the 50% of this
Okay.
body, and would shows that the buyers have a interfere in this candle. Okay, here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So engulfing, this candle engulfing will not be considered as a strong candle. Okay, that's the reason market is
Yes.
dropped. It is possible, right? Because in these
Got it.
three candles, when we will learn the volume, then you will understand that it looks like a momentum, but the momentum is very loss. How the small
Okay.
candle have a big volume and the big candle have a small volume. So the relation between this first and second candle, it shows that they have an anomaly, means they have a weakness. Again, if
Okay.
this candle and this candle, if we just to take see the result that the bigger candle, smaller volume, smaller candle, bigger volume, it is again anomaly. Okay, so the three candles
Got it.
shows a
Got
very
it.
weakness. Again, this candle shows a weakness. If the market moves up, that is the reason that sellers already told that we are weak. So this is the advanced version when we are looking the price action with the volume. When patterns are filtered, that the price action what told in the candles, it is fake. It is not true. Because volume will clear the candles
Okay.
movement. Okay, so if we just
Okay.
read
Okay.
with the volume, we will get the answer that we can go with this pattern or not. And mostly when you pick the any pattern, that time you just understand that the candle is tiny or it is normal candle in the size or it is very big in the size. So mostly trade the patterns
Okay.
if the candles are bigger, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So today, what we are starting, we will continue the sequence, but with a different way to take this, to get some signals. Like, first of all, I will give the one research. This research will start if you find that the sellers are stopped. If you find the sellers are stopped. Now, it is possible two candles appear and then sellers stop, or three candles appear then sellers stop, are more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever the candles appear, and the sellers are stopped. So we are focusing to understand when the sellers are start. Now at this point, maybe you will find the two green candles, or maybe you will find the one green candle, or more than one, or more than two green candles you will find here, for example. So now what happened that sellers give us information that we are totally stopped. When you got the red candle, that only just this red candle doesn't give you the meaning that we are stopped. We are stopped. You are waiting for another green candle. So now, after this one, you got a green candle. Here, the information from the seller side, which is very clear. What the information we got? They told we are stopped. So when the sellers tell that we are stopped, this information goes to the buyer. So buyers, what will think? We will continue, or we will give the opportunity to the seller. Mostly buyers will continue. So after this complete series, the next candlestick here will appear as a green candle. So now you are going to check in the market that how many times this green candle appears. How many times we can use this type of pattern that the next candlestick will become a green candle. This will be the research, right? Everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the market, mostly what you will find that there are two candles which are red and one or two candles. Again, you will find there's a green, but this only mostly you will find this pattern. Or sometimes you will find this pattern with a two candlestick, the buyer's stop or seller's stop. Okay. Most when the trend or when this wave is changing the direction, you will find these patterns. So right side and left side, you just focus. This side and this side. In between, one single candle you will find. Here also, right? We are just focusing on this candle. We will expect this candle when we will read complete this sequence. Okay. Now, this sequence related to the psychological pattern as well as two green, one red, next candlestick is a green, and now green, red, green, next candlestick is a red. Now, mostly traders, what they are looking, that red, green, red, next candlestick will be green, but mostly they fails that this candle will become red here and this candle will become green here. So just focus on this one. This setup mostly you will find on the charts, okay? And this will be your research. Now let's start the lesson. The lesson today is based on the market cycle. When we are looking at the chart mostly works, the price moves, our price cycle completes with the four waves mostly. And these four waves have a name. For example, if the price moving downward and minimum 3 candles you found or minimum 2 candles you found, but the size of the 2 candles must be equal to the 3 candle size, like this movement, which will be considered that the price is in a motive mood. Motive mood, it will be considered that the price is strong. Now, when the price is strong, the buyers will never immediately change the direction. They will enter to reduce the speed or reduce the momentum of the sellers. So if the buyers enter here, it is a pattern, any type of pattern, engulfing, piercing line, inside bar, outside bar, whatever the pattern you will find, this pattern after many candles, after momentum candles, that this pattern will be count that this is the movement of counter. So this pattern will be also called that the buyers countered the seller. When the buyers countered the sellers, so sellers will give us a reaction. Now sellers may can tell us that no, we are weak, we are very strong. For example, if they say that no, we are very strong, then they will break the size of the counter wave and they will continue with the 3 or 4 or 5 candles again. This is telling that the sellers are telling that we are still strong, we want to continue in our direction. In this case, when this wave is done, the second wave is done, so first motive was cancelled, this counter was cancelled, and now we are expecting, or now we are considering this is a motive wave. But in case if not, here you are not getting the 3 candles, you are getting 1 or 2 candles, but their size is very small, or it's a retracement or whatever. And again, buyers started with a new motive. So at this point, there are 2 bullish patterns. The one pattern will be called the counter pattern, this one, and another pattern will be called the motive pattern. So if you are mostly trading the counter pattern, then your winning ratio mostly will be the 55%. And when you are trading the second pattern, which is called the motive pattern, then this winning ratio you will get the 80%. So what I'm suggesting that when you watch movement of the sellers and they are in a momentum, and immediately if any pattern is created, don't enter in the trade. Wait, understand that the sellers are stopping, or sellers are slowing down the momentum. So now there is a one candle, it shows that they stop. After this pattern, definitely the next candlestick will be green. That was also research. And in case if you find that the sellers not stop, they slow down the momentum. Now buyers enter here, and maybe the buyers have two candles. Again, sellers enter, and they again close on the support. And then a new pattern is formed. We have still the two patterns, which is one is a counter pattern, another is a new motive pattern. But this pattern in the above example, this example is telling that the sellers are stopped. It gives the more confirmation to go with the buy. But this pattern give us a confirmation that the sellers are not stopped. Still they just slow down the momentum. So if you will go with a buy, that the winning ratio of this cycle will be less as compared to the upper cycle. But you cannot ignore this one. Mostly, this pattern creates a double bottom setup. And this double bottom setup will cross by the buyer till this key level. They will cross mostly. Then they will come back and then move up. This is the complete structure of the double bottom, and which we are trading in the market. So this market cycle is a one kind of double bottom, double top setup, which is establishing or which is forming. Okay, so only just a single candle you are trading here. This candle you are trading, and here this candle you are trading. Okay, got it? So one market cycle is start with a stop cycle, stop market cycle, and one slowing down momentum market cycle. So this mostly will be the sure, and this sometimes give you the retracement again, then they will continue. Okay, now there are some examples, more examples on it, which I'm going to show. For example, there are three candles moving in a direction, and when these candles stop, now we are expecting maybe the fourth candle we found or fifth candle we found, and maybe the sellers can attempt to the buyer to just counter the buyer, to reduce the momentum of this buyer. So if this candle, if you check that this candle shows that the sellers attack on the buyer, the reaction on this candle, the buyers tried too much, but finally the sellers controlled this candle. After that, again, buyers enter in the market. If this buyer's movement crosses this wick, then the counter will be bigger than the last effort will be bigger than the counter. So we are not considering. But here, if unable to break and sellers immediately enter, so we are counting that this is a motive, counter, last effort, and new motive. So new motive is a pattern. Immediately we will go with a sell and we will trade this candle. We are not waiting for the 1 minute for the retracement or any continuation sign. Immediately we are trading the next candle after the pattern. And after that, the sellers, if they continue, so this four waves will be complete. Now this is last is a new motive in a down direction. If the buyers enter, that will be counter. Sellers enter, that will be the last effort. Again, buyers will go up, that will be the new motive. So all over the day, you will find a lot of movements in this way. Like sometimes it's not created, but mostly it's created in the market. Now the buyers enter. This is the morning star pattern. Is it tradable? No, we are not trading because the morning star appears after the momentum of seller. They are powerful sellers. So in case if you get a continuation sign, even it will not work. We will never ignore this one pattern, and then we will wait for the last effort, and we will see the result in the last effort. So now when we are looking at the motive and looking at the last effort, the momentum is same, mostly equal. This week candle also appear here, but this shows that the motive and this counter have a equal strength. In this condition, can we go with a buy in case if the motive pattern appears? For example, here the motive pattern appears. So anyone can give me the idea that can we go with a buy or we ignore this pattern of the market cycle?
Can go with buy, sir.
Okay, if for example, if I'm going with a buy, what is the reason why I am taking the risk to go with a buy? What the information which gave me the confidence?
Because the last effort is not cross the motive.
Okay, last
It's
effort is not crossing the counter. Okay, the one point is this one, that this last effort, here this is the last effort which not crossing the counter, right? Okay,
Yeah.
one point is this one. Another point, if I'm going with a buy, what's the buyer gave me the information?
Buyers, no wick, sir.
Buyers told me when we stopped with the one candle, again we started with a two candle. Now our momentum is starting, and the sellers tried to break this support because when the candle, this red candle closes in this support, we was to enter, but sellers jump up and they enter. They tried to break the support, unable to break the support. It shows the sellers are weak, sellers are failed. And then buyers enter, and the previous one candle and two candles are telling that the buyers are in a power, they can continue the market. So we can expect a buyer's movement after this pattern. This morning star will give us a winning, and market may can continue in up direction. So this time the market cycle will work. And this movement which we have moved in this chart, this is from this chart. So mostly in the market, we are, if we look that we will get these type of movement. Means strength and weakness of the buyers and sellers is very important. Means ascending and descending order sequence we are using in a market cycle to confirm more. Ascending and descending sequence is very important. So if we go with the examples more, that this type of market cycle is called the stop market cycle, where the sellers are stopped, or if this kind of market cycle form with a bias movement, then also we can say the bias stop market cycle. And this is more accurate as compared to the another one. For example, if we got this type of movement, can we count that first wave is a motive, second wave is a counter, and third wave is a last effort? In this condition, can we consider? Yes. Okay, tell me, even if wrong answer, not a problem, I will clear. But just tell me the answer, that what can we consider this is the market cycle?
Consider third as motive, sir. Second one as a
New
motive.
motive will be formed here. I
Okay, this is not a valid market cycle because, as we know, motive must be bigger than all, counter must not be bigger than this motive, and last effort must be similar or equal to the counter, but must not greater than the this counter. So this is greater, it means this is broken, this is broken. Now only just we have what? We have this motive. Now after that we will find if counter appear, and then we can consider the market cycle. So after that, I found that buyers enter, they totally again broke the motive. So this motive again cancelled. Now this is a motive. This is a motive. Okay, if I just count this motive and the sellers enter, motive, counter, the last effort is this one. In case if the sellers appear here, can I count this market cycle to go with a sell? For example, there's a sellers here. So can I consider this one
No,
as a
sir.
market
Single
cycle?
red candle.
Okay, so single red candle, not because of just a single red candle, because of the counter and the last effort is bigger than
Yeah,
the counter.
new counter. Yeah.
Mostly traders, for example, look at now, there are both examples here. For example, if I consider this one, right, to trade this one, then I need to consider this one as well as, right? Because if I'm going against the market, against the rule, I'm considering this one, then I need to consider this one. So overall, what will be the result then? If I'm using this type of setup, then I will get the 50% or 55% result, right? So the rules of this market cycle must be implemented in when we are trading. Okay. Now the third example, what tells that there's a motive and counter, and then last effort is equal to the counter. And then if my new motive appears, I can trade. This is valid. Why? Because counter and last effort is equal. So now, for example, when ascending and descending order, we was counting the candles. Now we just going little bit advanced here that the size of these three candles and the size of these three candles. We are not just counting the three candles, but we are also counting the size. This is more momentum and this momentum is less as compared to the previous one. So after three candles, and again, if I found three candles from the seller side, but in that small size, so I can consider that the seller's momentum is decreased. And that is information can goes with the bias. Okay. And now there are some more conditions in which we are not trading the market cycle. For example, if you find a three candles or four candles, but last candle is very big. When the last candle is very big, and here we found a two green candles, but unable to break this red candle. And again, I found a one red candle, which appears here in this red candle. And now again, I found this another green candle. Can I consider this is a market cycle? The market cycle is valid, but the another concept interact that if we found one big candle and minimum 1, 2, and 3 candles inside the one candle, that consolidation starts. What starts? Consolidation. Consolidation market, when it starts, that there are possibility that this market cycle will not work, and here the psychological pattern will work. Psychological pattern like 3 red, 2 green here, the 2 green, 1 red, next candlestick is a green. Like now 1 green, 1 red, another green. Now next candlestick can be red here. In this condition we are not trading. And now here the another concept also interact that when you find one big candle and then 3 more or 4 candles you found, this candle will be called as a master candle. This is a master candle. And this is a C1. And this is a C2. And this is a C3. And this is a C4. So now here we will look that which is the color of the master candle. If the color of the candle is red, and if we found here the red candle is breaking this market master candle, then they will continue in this direction. But in case they are not breaking and this market cycle works, but we ignored, and now we are looking at it, they broken, we will never continue to buy because the master candle color is red and the green candle is breaking the master candle. So the next candlestick, mostly it will reverse back and again come into this zone. We will avoid. Okay, so master candle is another strategy we will discuss in another day, but this concept also will interact. 3 to 4 concepts interact together. And another way, we are not going to trade the market cycle when we trapped into the reference sequence. For example, the 3 or 4 candles you got, and then you got one green candle here. Again, we got 2 red candles. Momentum is slowing down from the seller side, but overall, we are in a sequence, reference sequence. So, number one, this counter is, this last effort is bigger than the counter, we will ignore. And another point, we will follow the reference sequence in which the price will mostly continue. And here, one interaction of the support becomes a resistance. Also, it helps us to go with the sell. In this condition, we will ignore. In this condition, we will ignore. And another condition which we will ignore, that is that if in the start, there was a 3 buyers, right? Before we was expecting that this is a motive, but when the counter from the seller side appear, the seller's candle was very bigger and they continue to create a L motive, and this motive is now cancelled. Now we are considering this motive. Now at this stage, when I got the result from the buyers enter with the 2 candles. How many candles are there? The 2 candles. And sellers give me again there are 2 candles. So now if I'm looking just on the momentum, that after 3 candles, buyers remains with a 2 candle, and sellers after 3 candles, they remains with a 2 candle. Now in case if I'm considering the buyer, so mostly what will happen, 3, 2, 1, this will be the 1 candle, and sellers 3, 2, 1, there will be 1 here. In this case, this market cycle fails. Then what happened? As I told in the research work, that mostly 2 red, 1 green, 1 red. Now here you will find the 2 green. At this time, you will get the market cycle trade here. If we just to trade, then we will ignore the previous setup. We will trade at this area. Not here we will trade, we will wait, and after that we will trade. So these are the conditions for trading the market cycle. Is there any query on the market cycle? Otherwise, I show the examples. Nothing?
Please go with example, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, look at this movement of the chart. This is a motive, counter, and last effort, and new motive. So this is perfect setup. We can go here because after 1 candle, buyers are in a strong position, and sellers stop here. Sellers stop here. Okay, after that we have another setup in this one. What is this pattern? Motive, and then counter, then last effort. Okay, so I'm considering this one as well as, right? Can I go with this pattern? Yes or no? You people not giving the response. So just participate, then you will learn more here. Okay. Motive, counter, last effort, and new motive. Can I trade this one? It's the same. The previous question which I asked. We cannot trade. You know why? After 2 candles, how many buyers can remains? 1. So
One,
buyers
one.
are stopped. So that's the reason we will never go with this market cycle. Okay. After that, see here. This is the motive, counter, last effort, new motive. Is it the right trade for the market cycle?
No, sir, no.
Okay, what's the reason? It's not right.
Because the last effect is greater than the counter.
Perfect. If I count this motive, counter, last effort, new motive, if I go with this trade, is it correct?
Sir, correct.
That is correct, because in this trade, the sellers with a 3 candle, then they remain with a 2 candle. It shows the sellers are losing the control, and then buyers are getting the control here, right? That's the reason we can go with a buy.
Yes, sir.
Again, if we go here, this is a pattern. Motive, counter, last effort, new motive. So if you find a minor just a difference, we can consider. Why we are considering? If there are 2 candles, then we will never consider. If there is a 1 candle, we will consider, because after a lot of sellers candle, the sellers are stopped. That's the reason we are considering to go with the buy, right? Here, it's a motive, counter, last effort, and new motive. For example, if I'm picking this trade, while the buyers told me that 2 and then 1 we are stopped, so can I go with this buy or not?
No, sir.
So this is not risky here. Why? Because when the buyers told that we are stopped, why sellers are unable to break this support? Because sellers have a 5 candles here, and then sellers have a 2 candles, they're unable to break, means sellers are also telling that we are not ready at this point, right? That's the reason if we just to take the opportunity here, we can go, but it is risky. If we ignore that, will be good. But if I just to take this opportunity, motive, counter, last effort, new motive, and in the last effort, the sellers are stopped, so I can go with this buy, that will be correct. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Now here, there are some indecision candle. Motive, counter, last effort, new motive. So when you find an indecision candle, if you ignore that will be good. Because here is an indecision candle. After that, if we go with a buy, even this candle close under the resistance level, so that will be lost trade. We will ignore it. Okay. Another example, this one. Motive, counter, last effort, new motive. This pattern is good because they are strong. We can go. Okay. Again, if we say here, this one. It's a motive, counter, last effort, new motive. Is it a correct market cycle? This is not correct.
Here, counter
This
is
is,
bigger
I
than
don't
motive.
think it is correct. Yeah, it
this
was.
is not correct. Why? Because the motive and counter is bigger than the motive, right? So that's why we are unable to count. So if I just here, I check this motive, even if the 2 candles are equal to the 3 candles, motive, counter, last effort, even this is bigger, but it is not too much bigger, only just a 1 breakout candle we found here, and then we can go. But if I just looking at the buyers are telling 1, then 2, then 3, they still not told us that we are stopped. That's why we cannot go with this candle. Okay, sometimes we can ignore the market cycle like this way. Here, is this setup is a perfect setup? This is also support if they are not broken. Can we go with this setup? Yes, definitely we will go. Now here, the question is that this is a pattern, this is a pattern. As compared to this pattern, number one pattern, number two pattern. One pattern is more stronger as compared to the second pattern. But why the second pattern is working and the first pattern is not working? This is a counter pattern which is not working. Why? Even it is a strong pattern. You know why? This is the momentum.
Seller's momentum.
Yes, momentum. When there is a too much momentum from the seller side, even it's a very strong pattern, it will not work. If the momentum declines and even you found a weak pattern, it will work as compared to the strong pattern. So mostly when we are picking any pattern, that we must check the previous strength, then it gave good result. Here we have this motive, counter, last effort, new motive. This is a good pattern. We can go. But in case if you are thinking that all the candles within the one candle, so we can ignore it. Sometimes it's win, but sometimes it's very risky. Here, this pattern is good. Motive, counter, last effort, because the last effort is a stop candle. So we can go with the buy. And this one, motive, counter, last effort, new motive. We can go here. But if I just pick this one, motive, counter, last effort, new motive, is it good? No, because counter is bigger than the motive. After confirmation, if I go with this candle, this is good. So this is your lesson for today. This is also here, some setups. Okay. So these patterns, if you will trade, you will get good winning ratio. And research you must done. Tomorrow, inshallah, we will complete the price action way patterns, like if the pattern and then we got the continuation sign, then can we trade or not? Okay. Is there any query to complete?
No, sir, from my side.
Okay, so PDF files and these reference pictures I will share, and then you can study, and also you can go with the live charts and then check there. If there will be any query tomorrow, first we will clear the query and then we will go with the next lesson. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.